It's October the 20th, 2022, and our reading today in the book of Psalms is Psalm 52. Again, it's important with this psalm to read the title, um, as you will see later. For the director of music, a maskil of David, when Doeg, the Edomite, had gone to Saul and told him, David has gone to the house of Ahimelech. Why do you boast of evil, you mighty man? Why do you boast all day long? You who are a disgrace in the eyes of God. Your tongue plots destruction. It's like a sharpened razor. You who practice deceit. You love evil rather than good, falsehood rather than speaking the truth. You love every harmful word. O you deceitful tongue. Surely God will bring you down to everlasting ruin. He will snatch you up and tear you from your tent. He will uproot you from the land of the living. The righteous will see and fear. They will laugh at him, saying, Here now is the man who did not make God his stronghold, but trusted in his great wealth and grew strong by destroying others. But I am like an olive tree flourishing in the house of God. I trust in God's unfailing love forever and ever. I will praise you forever for what you have done. In your name I will hope, for your name is good. I will praise you in the presence of your saints. Amen. Well, as with Psalm 51, we are greatly indebted in Psalm 52 to those few explanatory words that preface the psalm itself. And they are there, giving us a little bit of background, a little bit of explanation. If we take them seriously and believe that they were part of the original composition of the psalm, I've no reason to doubt this, and that this psalm was written by David, I don't doubt that, then the story in the background helps us to understand what unfolds in the psalm. And the little reference to this man Doeg, you have to go back to 1 Samuel chapters 21 and 22. Doeg was a servant of King Saul when King Saul was trying to hunt down and destroy young David. Doeg, in effect, was like his spy, and a very sly and evil man he was. Particularly, we see it in the use of words. That's significant for what follows, because these words are not neutral, they're not insignificant. They lead to the slaughter of the house of Abimelech. In fact, a whole community is basically wiped out by Doeg himself. He speaks, then he acts, and it is evil destruction. Read it for yourself again. Again, the little hint in the title should make us think, well, who's that? What's that all about? What happened? What was significant about that? Go back and read the narrative. Then we understand the song. And we can sing the song and read the psalm with greater understanding. And certainly the first thing we see in the psalm, which makes sense in the light of what I've just said, is this description of an evil, disgraceful man, verses 1 to 4. Surely this is Doeg that we've just been talking about. And the main source of his evil, if you look at it again and again, it is through his words. It's through sins of speech. The sly spy who is spying on David and then taking a report back to Saul and saying this and saying that, and it's dripping with poison. Well, read the story and you'll see how words can have disastrous, terrible, real life consequences. Verses 1-4. Certainly, that story back in 1 Samuel illustrates that. Thank God, therefore, for the divine justice, verse 5, which will destroy such human wrongdoing. We don't know too much about Doeg. I haven't looked it up. I don't know whether he pops up again later in the story, whether he does or not. Even if people get away with wrongdoing in this life, even if Putin lives to a grand old age and dies peacefully in his sleep, he will not escape divine justice. People never do. They never will. It's impossible. And this human wrongdoing, this evil that we've been looking at, it will be destroyed, as it says in verse 5. That should cause us to rejoice, and we will, if we're part of that other company that are described here as the righteous. This is verses 6 and 7. The righteous will see and fear. Their whole perspective is so different, the choices they make in life, and their speech. They laugh at him, the wicked who are brought crashing down, and they speak, and their speech, verse 7, is so different. In verse 7, and then verses 8 and 9. Here is the speech now of an individual. This is more like a testimony. Did you notice how intensely personal the psalm is as it closes? 5 times, I. This maybe is one of David's great testimonies. I'm like an olive tree flourishing in the house of God. I trust in God's unfailing love forever and ever. I will praise you forever for what you've done. The Lord delivered him from Doeg and Saul and evil men. Though, of course, David himself had his own struggle with evil within him, as we saw yesterday in Psalm 51. But the psalm ends, this one anyway, with this lovely personal example of David and his testimony. We see David in contrast to Doeg. David, who of course was weak and flawed, he was a sinner, but he trusted, verse 8, in God, in God's unfailing love. Not like Doeg and men like him, mighty men, powerful men, worldly men, men who've got wealth and power, coming out of their ears. But they trust in that great wealth, and they grow strong by destroying others. That's exactly a description of Doeg there, back in 1 Samuel 21 and 22. The trust issue, the faith issue. Where is your focus? Where is your life? Who are you looking to? What are you living for? Can't help but see in this story as well a kind of an echo, a pre-echo, if you like, or a foreshadowing looking forward of the gospel story. I see in Doeg someone who is so Judas-like, the betrayer. And I see in David someone who is so like Peter, who was frail and weak, who denied his Lord 3 times. But he repented, he wept bitter tears, and he was restored. The key question as to which way you will go and how you will live is in Matthew 22 and verse 42. What think ye of Christ?